I haven't had a home in 12 years. No apartment, no storage unit, just boxes at my parents' house. And honestly, I can't really remember what it feels like to have one. People think this is either the best thing ever or completely insane. But after doing this for over a decade, I can tell you that it's neither. It's just a different set of trade-offs. But the hardest part isn't logistics, it's what you have to give up over time. Today, I'm walking you through what I've gained and what it costs. And I'm not just talking about the money. Let me start with what I've gained, because the gains are the reason I'm still doing this after 12 years. The biggest thing I've gained is freedom and flexibility. If a place isn't working, I can leave. Now, I usually don't leave early because I've already paid for accommodation up front, and I'm probably only staying for 2 to 4 weeks anyway. But having that option matters. And sometimes that flexibility creates really special moments. A few years ago, Kevin and I were traveling in Australia. We had just started traveling together. We changed our plans, found a different flight, and flew back to North America so we could meet each other's families for the first time. I also surprised my parents by showing up at their front door on my birthday when they were expecting just a phone call. It was the best surprise ever. That kind of spontaneity is only possible because we don't have a home base tying us down. There's also a really practical aspect to this. When we have accommodation problems, those aren't our problems, unlike friends and family who own their own houses. We get to leave. Nothing is permanent, and for me, that's a good thing. Another huge gain is getting to spend real time in less visited destinations. Places like Somaliland, Timor-Leste, and Algeria. These places challenge my worldview. I get to experience different cultures and learn from people without being in a rush. There aren't crowds of tourists. You get the authentic experience and the natural way of life, not the version that's catered to tourists. These tend to be my favorite places. Now, these places aren't always practical for digital nomad work. Sometimes I'm in vacation mode or I'm planning to work less, but I balance these trips with places I can work more easily. This lifestyle has also helped me find the right people. I met Kevin at Bonsko Nomad Fest in 2022. He was already a committed long-term nomad when we met. We were already on the same page about this lifestyle. Before Kevin, I dated other nomads, but most of them were nomads for now with plans to move back home eventually. I even convinced one ex to try the digital nomad lifestyle. It was fun for a while, but ultimately it wasn't his life. And then there's the nomad community. These are the people who deal with the same challenges I do. They get excited about the same things too. It's different from friends back home who like to travel for vacation. Vacation travel conversation is not the same as digital nomad lifestyle conversation. Financially, this is sustainable for me. I typically spend between $2,000 and $4,000 a month, sometimes higher, sometimes lower. The average throughout the year is what matters to me. To maintain a similar quality of life with a home base in the US, I'd easily have to spend between $6,000 and $8,000 a month. And in places like Bangkok or Bonsko, Bulgaria, I often spend less than even my typical range. Quality of life varies by location too. In Southeast Asia, I eat out way more than I do in Europe. In Europe, I eat out less, but I cook more. I enjoy both of these experiences. Now, let's talk about what it costs, because there are some real costs to this lifestyle beyond financial ones. One of the biggest is decision fatigue. Every time I go to a new location, I have to figure out where to do laundry, which grocery store to go to, and whether I'm looking at yogurt or sour cream because I don't know the script. I have to book accommodation 12 times per year if I'm staying a full month in each place. In reality, it's way more than that because of airport nights and shorter trips. This can be overwhelming because it's on top of all of the normal stuff. I still have taxes, work, and all the regular adult responsibilities. This is an additional layer of constant logistics. I also can't have certain gear. I love skiing, but I haven't skied in a couple of years because my gear is in the US. I have my own scuba equipment and I prefer using it, but it's not always feasible to bring. I'd love to travel with my DSLR camera and lenses, but they take up too much space and weight. I don't miss having a ton of extra shoes and clothes though. I'm pretty content with what I'm carrying at any given time. I have a few boxes at my parents' house, and I don't mind only swapping things out once or twice per year. Every purchase now requires analysis. How much room will this take up? How much does it weigh? I can't buy something just because it's pretty. Mostly, I don't wish for that feeling of having everything in one place. The exception is sometimes after longer stays. I get used to feeling settled in, and it's harder to leave. But This is pretty natural now. This is my baseline. Another big one. I don't see my friends as often as I'd like. While I try to prioritize calling and chatting with them, it sometimes feels like another to-do list item. I have a bunch of people I want to call, but I have a ton of other things I have to do too. I've also missed weddings. There's the foreign earned income exclusion restriction. For context, to qualify for the foreign earned income exclusion and not pay US taxes on my first approximately $120,000 of income, I must be physically present in foreign countries at least 330 days per year. That means I can only be back in the US for a maximum of 35 days each year. I have to plan very carefully. It's a bummer sometimes. But there's a flip side. I take trips with my family every year. I've met up with tons of friends abroad, both pre-nomad friends and nomad friends. I've had experiences with my friends and family that I never would have had without this lifestyle. Now, I'm also not willing to take an in-office or hybrid job, which has somewhat limited my career opportunities. I currently work in the media industry, which has a lot of in-office and hybrid roles. Even remote roles sometimes require you to work in the US. Those are completely off the table for me, regardless of how good the fit or how interesting the role might be. That said, I haven't faced networking challenges or missed growth opportunities. If anything, the opposite. This lifestyle has helped my career overall. Healthcare without a home base is more complex. I have comprehensive global health insurance through Genki Native. I strategically plan my healthcare in affordable countries. I go to the same dentist in Bulgaria every year. I have one prescription that I either refill when I'm home in the US or have my parents bring when they come to visit. I even got a comprehensive checkup in Bangkok for $785, and insurance covered most of it. That level of checkup would have cost thousands in the US. There are some things that aren't just gains with costs, they're contradictions that I'm still figuring out. Constant new experiences are exciting, but they're also exhausting. The list of new places I want to see is never ending, but I also want to return to my favorites. Finding the right balance is an ongoing challenge. My travel pace has changed a lot over the last decade. I used to move every 2 to 4 nights. Now I typically stay 2 to 4 weeks in each place. That changed because my work got more demanding. I went from part-time freelancer to full-time managing editor with a team. I need good sleep, time to meet my work responsibilities, and time to explore. Staying longer gives me deeper immersion. When you're staying somewhere only 2 to 4 nights, you either go to the convenient coffee shop or you explore new places and then you leave. You never really get a chance to develop favorites. When you stay 2 to 4 weeks or longer, you can do both, but staying longer also means I see fewer places. And a full-time job takes away from the time I can spend immersing myself in a place. And here's where my engineering brain becomes my worst enemy. I have this over-optimization problem. Let me give you an example. I had a Hyatt free night certificate from the World of Hyatt credit card that was expiring soon. And you used to be able to trade certain unused expired certificates for 10,000 points. Kevin and I typically stay at lower category properties, so 10,000 points is usually worth more than one free night to us. We had a hotel stay coming up that cost 9,500 points, but I didn't want to redeem my certificate because I wanted to wait and trade it in for 10,000 points. I thought I was coming out ahead by 500 points. But after the certificate expired, I learned that bank-issued certificates weren't eligible for trade-in. I lost 9,500 points trying to come ahead by 500 points. My engineering mindset helps with logistics, feasibility, and solving puzzles. But it hurts when it comes to this over-optimization tendency. Finding the balance is hard, and I'm still working on it. Let me clear up some things people get wrong. Digital nomads aren't on vacation all the time. I work full-time while traveling, and the world isn't as scary as you might think. I've been to over 125 countries. and people are generally friendly, even in places with bad reputations. Should you try this lifestyle? If you're interested, give it a test for a week or a month. You can't know without trying. After 12 years, nothing would make me stop right now, but that doesn't mean it hasn't had its costs. Living without a home base isn't paradise and it isn't a crisis. It's just different. For me, the gains outweigh the losses. I trade stability for flexibility. The only way to know if you're okay with these trade-offs is to see for yourself. If this resonated with you, whether you're thinking about trying digital nomad life or you're years into it, let me know in the comments. And subscribe, because I'm not stopping this lifestyle anytime soon.